get you back. So anyway, but yeah, that's keeping up with the Bidens, y'all, and we'll see how this. I know this year ain't gonna end right, but
garbage and sanitation worker. No, they want to live in big houses that they see on videos.
You know, my thing is, I thought it was funny because it was the caller that did it, but at the end of the day, it's when you're a public figure.
That the whole thing makes me sick to my stomach.
You know what I'm saying? 99.9% of the time, I love living in this, country that we're free and we have this freedom of speech. But every now and then,
when she did
listen,
the Trump,
brother, if she could turn back the hands of time, Doc, ain't no Dave Chappelle, I'll tell you that.
And so you need to be put out and put on notice. The hell no.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, y'all. Happy Monday.
Thank you, Geneva. Thank you so much. Good morning. Monday morning, everybody. Good to see y'all. Hey, I ain't seen y'all in like 7 days, but y'all know what time it is. It's the best morning show that you can watch at night, TFG Tonight. And I am your host, Mr. I'll Be Tired. No, just teasing. Hey, good to see everybody. So listen, when y'all come in, say what's up. And we got a lot to talk about. Y'all know I had to throw my whole show away today because Will slapped Chris. Okay. Bring the family on so we can get this over with because I'm about had it with Will, Jada, and his kids. Madam, gentlemen.
What up?
What's
Good
up?
morning.
What
Good
up?
to see y'all. Good to
What
see
up?
y'all. Boy, y'all made the camera look so good, I tell you. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to fix my little wig right there. Yeah. Y'all doing all right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. This is Monday.
Listen, the media guys gave us a lot to talk about today, and we just gonna do it, man. Listen, y'all saw the Oscars, and if you didn't, well, I promise you, you've been on drugs for the past 2 days. What's going on, Lamar, Mr. TFG himself?
What's up, Lamar? How you doing, brother?
Yeah, shout out to the real estate guy too, man. That thing is popping, y'all. Y'all go check that junk out.
Y'all go check him out. The Black Robin Leach is what I call him. The Black Robin Leach.
Y'all know Real Talk for Real Men is back in full effect too. So
yes,
y'all check that man out.
Make sure you check him out too.
And the sports man, and listen, he got a lot to talk about too. These boys is moving around here in the NFL. So he got a lot going on. But unfortunately, for your hearing pleasure and your viewing pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, Will Smith. So y'all, if y'all ain't seen the Oscars, which I was one that did not, I didn't even watch it. Matter of fact, as my news feed kept running, everybody talking about, oh my God, that was fake, it was staged. My wife's like, did you see this? I was like, no. I'm gonna just be honest. The slap was weak, or Chris Rock got a heck of a jaw. I ain't even see no blood. I said, man, that's a bad boy, right? I mean, number two, I knew it wasn't fake when he sat down and he yelled and he used a word that would violate FCC rules.
Mm-hmm.
Right. At that moment, I said, this is real. And then I watched it like 18 times because now let's just go around the room. When did you come to the knowledge of it not being fake anymore? Did anybody see it live? Because I did.
I did. No, I didn't see it.
I watched it live.
Okay, Black. So did you automatically think that this was staged, or you kind of saw this coming?
No. The slap happened so quick that I heard it, but I didn't see it. And then Will was walking away, but I was focused on Chris Rock's face.
Yeah.
And by the time he made it to the seat, I'm sitting up in bed screaming, this just happened.
Yeah.
And then of course Will Smith's words, and that's when it was surreal. It was completely surreal.
Yeah. Ma'am, did you catch it live, or was you on some plane somewhere?
Well, I mean, I wish. I rewatched it like a lot of people, and I still thought it was a skit up until afterwards when Chris couldn't find his words. He was completely confused and couldn't even find his words. That's when I believed it and realized that, man, this dude's done for real.
Yeah. So I'm gonna tell y'all something. So as the cameras, because anything you get live, it's always reran over and over and again until they get the other vantage points.
Yeah,
So
camera
then,
angles. Yeah.
yes,
Mhm.
thank you, sir. See, that's being in that business, right?
Mhm.
Camera angles. Thank you. So this is the thing that I gathered now since I saw this. What I saw was hours of bedroom talk. And once I saw Jada, because Will started laughing, and that laugh of me said, well, he just par for the course. That's what you do. You laugh even if it bothers you. He was just going with the flow. That's what you do in that. What I saw was classism take an L. Right? A man lost his composure, but that was hours and hours of conversation in the bedroom because as he was beginning to posture in his and he looked at Jada, and Jada's not she mad. I'm gonna tell y'all what I saw. What I saw was that 3 o'clock in the morning conversation because she ain't through talking about this, and she tired of what you ain't doing and he lost it because she wasn't laughing, and he didn't want to have that conversation no more. And now the punishment didn't fit the crime. He overcompensated, bro. Had you just yelled out and said that, then I think I would have had more respect. But what it was is y'all been putting yourself out here. Y'all been letting the world see y'all. You let everybody know what was going on. And now that you can't handle it, now you said, well, listen, I'm not going to have another 2-hour conversation about you telling me that I ain't sticking up for you when somebody say something. And he went up there and slap the Rock. Slap Dwayne Johnson. Not Chris Rock. Wrong Rock player.
But Dwayne Rock ain't a comedian, so.
But he'll tell some jokes.
I don't think he would have. I mean, but,
don't get me wrong. I don't think
no,
and
I get it. And then people keep saying, people are saying if it was a white comedian, he wouldn't have did this, just that.
Of course, it would have been.
No. I mean, I just think at the point, I think sometimes we try to throw these hypotheticals instead of sticking to the actual incident, what happened. And what actually happened. And I totally agree with what you said, Brent. I think this was a culmination of pillow talk with his wife. And she wasn't happy when Chris Rock made that comment. And he just know it. He happened to look and they caught eyes. He's like, oh, yeah, this struck a nerve.
Yeah.
So that's when he went into overprotective mode. Now, I ain't got a problem with him sticking up for his wife. I just think he kind of got a little overreactive. Yeah, man. You pull that man to the side. Y'all, you have to let him do his thing. You get up, you walk to wherever the side of the stage, see where you're coming from. Hey, bro. Right. Hey, man, let's go talk about this.
That's right.
I know you're a comedian. You like the joke, but that joke right there, that you was talking about my wife's health. Now, if you just talked about her acting abilities and all that, cool. But you're talking about something that's serious as alopecia for her. So,
and I don't want to go far left with this. I'm gonna let you have it black. I don't want to go far left, but again, Will and Chris don't represent me as a black person. So whatever everybody want to say about, oh, that messed up the black, nah, they didn't mess up nothing about me because that's two men that don't even function in my hemisphere. What that was classism got exposed.
Right.
That's all it was. So I don't take no ownership of all you, because white folks just as ignorant as black folks. We can see that. Listen, just go up a good news feed. Go on one of them white hit groups on Facebook. You can see it, the same thing. But what it was that was classism being exposed because now you tired. You tired of the money. That's what you did to make the money. Go ahead, Black.
Well, everything you said certainly might be true, and I agree with many points in there. But for me, even before I get into the psychology of it and the many different layers, for me, I'm gonna tell you what, it was far more simple for me. I tell people this all the time. I used to be married. I'm divorced now. As a married man, whenever I used to go places with my wife, there used to be a horrible fear inside of not of people. Whenever I used to go to events, whether it's something simple as going to a movie, or me and my wife used to go to, back then we went to concerts, all kinds of stuff. As a husband, you have an awful role of responsibility when somebody disrespects your wife, and I used to literally pray, have a silent prayer when I used to be out with my wife that, please, God, don't let nobody touch my wife the wrong way. Don't let nobody grab her butt. Don't let nobody grab her arm. If we're at the movies and she going to the concession stand, please, and you're watching the Element around and we clubbed back then, please don't let nobody disrespect her, because it would put me in a position where whether she's right or wrong, I gotta go. Mm-hmm. I gotta act on it. And so I've always felt that I used to feel that intense fear, that level of responsibility. And even as a friend, I have a lot of female friends when I used to go out to clubs, I felt that same level of shepherdness where I'm watching over all my female friends, and I would hate if somebody grabbed them the wrong way because I'm the guy sitting here with you. And so you're right. I watched it live and he laughed. And for the record, he didn't talk about her health. He made a joke about her haircut.
That's right.
And so but again, whether we want to go there, this is not, because I have alopecia. So if we want to get if we want to get deep into that, we can go there if you want to. He made a simple joke about her haircut, referencing the G.I. Jane movie when Demi Moore had cut her hair off. So if we want to go about the alopecia, I truly hate the victimization that people take on when we go behind the scenes and she was a victim. My thing was, I found that after he laughed, like you said, Brenton, and you look over and your wife has that look on her face, you got to go now. You got to act on it. Now, that for me was the culmination of those late night talks, the embarrassments that she's made of him on the Red Table Talk. The speech he gave, you felt the weight of all the things he's been called behind this, because he know what it looks like. And so in that moment, you're right, Brother Ken, he had to overcompensate, because at the end of the day, once we finish laugh celebrating, I have to go home to her.
That's right.
Right.
And that was for me. I felt it as a husband. Now that don't make it right, because from my perspective, he overreacted. Punishment didn't fit the crime. You know, he definitely chose the right person. You know, as Shannon Sharp said, I would have came up out of that tux.
Don't listen to Uncle Shannon. Shannon he be dramatic too. I like him too, but he's over dramatic today. He's just talking a bunch of stuff. But anyway.
But I get that, because as a man watching that, but for me, this was a husband put in a god-awful situation. You know, sometimes standing up for, even though you have to be your wife, for your woman, can get your ass whooped. Thank God that Chris Rock.
Well, he got, that's a man that stood there for a few seconds and said, this could go a whole lot of ways.
Right.
And that's a lot of money. And it may be a clause in that if you embarrass us, you lose a certain percentage of your money. I don't know.
Chris Rock had the true embodiment of self-control, because I don't know many men that could have controlled themselves once you get slapped by another man.
What? Okay.
You know what I mean? I'm just saying, I give Chris Rock props, because especially then Will made the bad mistake of turning his back and walking away. Now you know, I've been told you go at somebody, you gotta don't ever turn your back away.
That's
right.
That
thing could have told you a whole different way.
Absolutely.
That classism, what you were just talking about.
Yes, sir. That's right.
Will knew he could turn his back and walk away, because he knew he could get away with that.
That's right.
It looked like privilege to me. And I know that's a bad word to use for Black people, maybe. I don't know. But that was complete privilege, because a regular smegular Joe couldn't have walked up and slapped Chris Rock and then turned around and walked back to his seat. It wouldn't have happened. Him and his entire entourage would have been escorted out of that Oscars, and the award still would have been called for him, but he just wouldn't have been there to claim it. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I know everybody's defending that behavior and saying it's okay, but I just didn't like it. And I don't think that was fair to Chris Rock, the outcome. If whether or not someone believes he deserved to get slapped, that's one thing, but there's still a consequence.
That's right.
You putting your hands on this man.
And that leads us to the next point about the apology. Again, it came in these layers, you know what I'm saying, which already gives me this tingling of disingenuousness, you know what I'm saying? Because when you won the Oscar, I mean, it's almost like it's bittersweet now, right? Because it's like, what you gonna say? But his money is what allows him, his fame, and that's the that's the frustrating part about this, is because we do have double standards in this country. You know what I'm saying? Because the Oscars, they treated Will, and this is again, and I hate to do this, but I got to, because if I don't, y'all act like we can't articulate. This is what we try. Again, white people, that was a Donald Trump move. That's just this. What Will did is what Donald Trump tell y'all he could do if he wanted to.
Very much so.
Right? So we're not gonna play. We ain't gonna play like we don't see it. That's the exact same thing. He has the same power and the same money, and that's what money does in entertainment. It says, "Oh, we didn't see nothing. What happened? Until it's, I mean, they let the thing go on and let the man stay there and let him get his award. You know, but if it was done on The Source or BET, all of a sudden we dogs. Look at the Adams. Nobody had anything to say that day. And then you didn't even apologize to the man on the mic. You apologize, but then you want to send this other little text
statement.
Yeah. I mean, again, you don't represent black people. Please, y'all, stop putting one man to represent all of us. No, it don't work like that. I ain't never been to Philadelphia a day in my life. Go ahead, Black.
Well, I'm gonna say this. For me, you know, and again, I watched it live, and oh my God, the activity last night behind it was incredible. From people calling and texting, we were discussing it, you know, even today. Again, he was wrong in my opinion. Now, having said that, everything you said is correct. You know, his power, fame, influence allowed him to get away with that without impunity. Now, the Academy in retrospect is talking about what they might do, an investigation, all this kind of stuff. But in that moment, his power, fame, you know, and money allowed him to, he wasn't removed, blah, blah. Now, this is me. Show you how we can all see a similar event and feel that. I felt his apology and I bought it 100%. Me and my nephew, we were on the phone while he was saying it, and I thought he struck every chord perfectly. I personally bought into the fact that he didn't apologize to Chris Rock, so that part I'm giving that. But he said in his speech, he said, "I'm not crying because of an award." He started out by referencing the movie role and the fierce protector, blah blah blah, and he says, "Well, I try to live my life trying to be a light." I'm paraphrasing here. I truly felt the weight of what he's been carrying. To be in his position at his level and to be the butt of jokes, and he's a human being. He knows what people have been saying behind his back. Your wife made a national jackass of you, you know, for the world to see. Her lover comes out with a song about it. But in a real world, you say you don't represent us, Brother Brenton? In the real world, I could find August Alsina and whoop that ass. But when you Will Smith, he's been in a no-win situation. In my personal opinion, he had one way out when the whole thing came out. He could have left. Now, I to this day don't know of whether their open marriage and their deal makes it so that divorce is not a factor, or if there are too many skeletons buried that they don't want to expose, or is it really, do he really love this woman at that level? But I do know this. He is a human being, and he's had to carry that, because if he jumps on August Alsina, he's a big bad bully. And there's a faction out there that will say, well, why did you let it happen? And all those other things that go along with it. And so he's had to hold all of this in. I felt the weight of what he was going through in that moment. For me, I bought it, you know, and I don't consider myself to be a gullible person, but I bought it. And I felt like he wanted to say more, but he was careful, because this is the price of fame, where when you at that level, everything you do, everything you say is going to be scrutinized, debated, and looked at and diced up. And if you look at Twitter, the Twitterverse, there's factions out there that are on both sides of the coin, you know. So I believed it, and I thought he struck the perfect chord in terms of what he was trying to convey, what he's been carrying. Now, was it right? And do I think he should have gone further? Sure. He should have apologized to Chris. Sure.
Okay. Well, I'll say this, and we can move on from it unless anybody has anything else to say. I think the only person that feels like they have some type of vindication here is the first Aunt Viv.
She was
I
on
never even thought about
online
that.
defending Will.
Yes, she was, but
Oh,
she
okay.
remembers when she was the one that was put
Right.
out there like that and
Right.
made to be
Right.
seen as something. And now, Will, here you are, multiple years later, and now you
Right.
get to see how she felt. I just thought that was really interesting.
The thing I want to say, and then we can move on again. I've been Will and Chris out today, man, from
Oh yeah.
Roland Martin to everybody and their mama got they internet psychologists. So I would say this as a black man and two black men that are highly respected in their crafts. I did hate to see this happen. I understand why it happened from Will Smith's point of view, but I also know that as Chris Rock, as a comedians sometimes they do push the boundaries, but that's what they do. I wish we as black men, and I hope this is a learning moment for us as black men, we can have a disagreement and disagree, but we can pull each other to the side and say, look, brother, you know what? You offended me. I really wanted to slap the shit out of you, but as a man, I'm coming to you as a man, and let's talk about this. Let's work this out. So hopefully, this is a teachable moment to all the young brothers out here and the old brothers too.
Yeah,
because sometimes we think this toxic masculinity, putting your hands on somebody, was what make you a man. Not what makes you a man is when you can sit down and you can converse with your brother, and y'all can come to an understanding or a misunderstanding and leave it at that.
Yep. So the level of restraint Chris had was a level of maturity.
I give him much respect on that.
Most men should obtain or should try to aspire to be, have that level of restraint, you know what I'm saying? So that way you can show your maturity. So as we end, I know if you've seen the video, for sure, you've seen it, but I found one perspective that probably you guys hadn't seen, and it won't get us in trouble. So just take a look one more time at the Oscars slap. Sorry, we can't show the other one, so we'll get in trouble. Sorry. All right,
but Family Guy is brilliant.
But we needed that. We needed that breakup. We needed that.
Yes.
We needed that. That's hilarious.
Yes. Thank you, Peter Griffin.
Thank you, Peter.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Loopholes. This is a very interesting conversation to me because apparently Congress has recently closed a loophole that allowed federal officers to claim sex with a detainee, and its concealment. Ladies and gentlemen, the loophole was just closed March 16th of this year. So you mean to tell me these boys was in there having a field day with detainees and they could do it properly? What are we getting ourselves into, y'all? What are we exposing in this world? Listen, you can fathom some things in your mind. You say, well, I don't think they'll let that happen. No, they will let this happen. Y'all, listen, Congress passed a bill last week explicitly prohibiting federal law enforcement officers from having sex with people in their custody, closing a loophole that previously allowed them to avoid a rape conviction by claiming such an encounter was consensual. I don't. Who want to start?
I'll go. And this is, I'm laughing because I'm embroiled in my binge watching. I'm on season 7 of Game of Thrones. So
you hadn't watched it?
No, I'm.
Oh, you just rewatched
it. Yeah,
gotcha.
And it fits right in the wheelhouse of the old school way things were done. When you conquer and you pillage, the women and children belong to you.
Yeah,
it's old school, and I'm not saying it's right. The fact that we have to have a law to state this, it shows you the ugliness behind the scenes of a country that's supposed to be great. We're supposed to be the greatest. And it flies in the face of the very democracy in which we're supposed to stand. To think that there has to be a law in the book that will prevent you from having sex with people in your custody is absurd. The absurdity of it. But if we have to say that about our detainees, what's happening in our federal prisons?
Man, I'm telling you, a lot.
What's happening in all the camps where kids are kept? That people are at their basis level are have to be told, you know what I'm saying, that there's a law to stop you from being decent and human and seeing them as human beings. It's incredible to me. But we live in a society now where the veil is being pulled back on all of the ugliness of who we are as Americans.
My friend Jeff Bakken, man, good to see you, man. Thank you. He said this is why you don't look up to celebs. Kids look to your parents. And I agree, brother.
And just remember, that's right. They human too, so they make mistakes. So that's another thing. Our parents make mistakes too, as well. So,
but great point, brother. I appreciate it. And Devin, I'm gonna tell you this, and I want to hear from you. 35 states has allowed this loophole to exist, and 158 people, law enforcement, have been charged with sexual assault from 2006 to 2018. Yeah, man, good to see you, man. Watch the show the whole time, man. So you can keep commenting on this good stuff, man. Appreciate it. Madam, I mean,
you know what? I'm not shocked that it's happening. I'm shocked they had to create a law like against it. Do I think it's going to stop anything? No, because I just don't think people care about detainees and they see them as subhuman. So I don't think it will matter. I just think they say it as a way to make prisoners or detainees, I won't call them prisoners because you may not be in prison, to make them feel better and feel safer by saying this is not allowed to happen to you. But I still believe that if anyone complained that it happened to them, they're still going to be snubbed because they're not looked at the same level as those employers at those jails or detain centers. So I'm just, it's just sick and it just sucks. And I don't know why in facilities like this, like that, cameras aren't mandated in most areas besides the shower and the toilet area. I don't know why that's not required. I mean, if cops have to wear, body cams, I don't know why it's not the same to protect those who have been detained.
Yeah. And I will say this, Cory Booker made a statement about the duality of this country that I've never heard any human being articulate, because I used to be confused by how we perceive this country. But he spoke about the duality of this country. He says this country has a history, but this country has gotten better. And I said, I can't argue with that, because he's right. This country has a history, but yeah, this country is better than what it was 50 years ago. And I said, and the hope that he's trying to project is it's continuing to get better as we make these moves, regardless of how people feel about how the move was made or what's wrong with the move. The truth is the duality of the truth is the country has a history that we cannot ignore. But the truth is, yeah, we are getting better. I don't have any other expectation beyond that, because I don't say, well, they're going to get this better in 10 years. That's a lie. Just depends on what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Who's going to get slapped next year at the Oscars now? Again, it just all depends. But he articulated the best, and I said, fine, I can accept that. There is a duality.
I mean, it may be getting better, and that's subjective. For whom and to whom is it better for?
Agreed.
That's the bigger question. So,
because he focused on certain things, right? Not taking his joy away from having this woman.
Right. The statement itself, I agree with, but again, it's subjective.
Where you insert it, I'm with you.
Right.
That's right.
Because it's not better for a lot of us, and in particular, speaking to this ludicrous bill, I'm not talking about the rapper. I'm talking about this bill that they finally closed up. This is another reason why people distrust law enforcement. This is another reason why women don't feel safe in the law enforcement, and men too. Let's not get it twisted. I'm sure some men have been taken advantage of or raped in this situation too. I just think this country has a long way to go. Law enforcement has a long way to go, and to think that 35 states still has this as on their books, that is.
Only got 50.
I'm speechless. I'm speechless on this, and then to finally just close this loophole up. What, a couple of weeks ago? Are you serious?
Yeah, man.
I'm like, why? So all these women that have been taken advantage of. And I was just in that same article, Brent. I think a couple of months ago, 2 officers got 3 years probation.
Yeah,
for raping a detainee.
Yep.
3 years probation.
Yep.
So I don't know. I mean, it's sad. Who do you trust? Who do you trust?
That's it. Mark Zuckerberg and the metaverse. You can't trust that either. They're giving lawsuits in that too.
I don't know about that either. Right.
Yep. So listen, we just here to tell the ugly truth and nothing but the truth. And so help your soul. Whatever it looks like. All right, man. What we got next? I think it's time for Boss. Yeah. Ken.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, man. Listen.
Sports, man. It's been kind of quiet in the sports world to my team, but not really. We got the Final Four coming up this coming weekend. True. We got North Carolina and Duke, who have never met each other in the NCAA Final Four. Those two will play the late game on Saturday, and Kansas and Villanova is the first game. Will Coach K, will this be his last game? Because this is his last dance. He's retiring. And wouldn't it be fitting for those North Carolina Tar Heels to be the team that sent him on his way? So that's what we got coming up. Yeah, Hubert Davis, the first-year head coach in his alma mater. But we're going to move on. We're going to talk about somebody filing lawsuits. And we're talking about the National College Players Association. They filed a civil rights complaint against the United States Department of Education against Division I schools. And you probably, why, Kendrick? Why did they file this lawsuit? Because they saying that the money that these Division I schools are making now that athletes can get NIL deals, which is name, image, and likeness, they can make money off of themselves. Well, they're saying that there's a disproportionate of Black college athletes at Division I that aren't getting the money that they should be, considering how much money those universities are bringing in. Now, the tricky part about this is they have to sue the whole NCAA, and certain Division I schools are being sued as well. Now, the tricky part is, how can you determine how much money that they should be making compared to what those schools and those sports departments are bringing in? So, and this is all Black colleges. I mean, black college student athletes. So my question is, first of all, everybody's always had an opinion about should college athletes get paid. And I've always said I think they should be paid. I think they should get a percentage. I mean, that they bring in billions of dollars. Now, do you think that this suit is going to hold up in U.S. Department of Education? You think this NCPA will win? Brother Black, what you think?
I don't know if it will hold up and if it will win. But the wheels of justice have always turned slowly. And so when I think about this lawsuit, it kind of pertains to the subject we just looked at, the loopholes. When something is addressed, it's addressed just enough to satisfy the status quo, but it doesn't go far enough to solve any issues. So it's one thing to say that, okay, we're going to start paying student athletes. Fantastic, great job. You guys finally come around. But you brought up the dichotomy here is that how much are they worth? When you think about those student athletes, what is their percentage? Because if you're not going to sit down at the table and draw up a fair equity that goes to the athlete, you're just blowing smoke in the wind at that point. You've done something to make it look good, but you really haven't done anything. You're saying a lot without saying anything really. And it's the same thing with the 35 states. Now that it's on the books, the loophole, but the loophole going to have a loophole. And so whether or not that this will go yeah, they'll, say all the right things and do all the right things, and we'll form a committee and this and that. And that's the way it works. The NCAA is an organization that's been taking advantage of student athletes for years. We're talking about billions of dollars here. They're not going to give this up without a serious fight. So God bless them. You know what I'm saying?
Good luck. Good luck. What you think, Miss Devin? Yeah, good luck.
I mean, I think something will come out of it because lawyers are greedy. I mean, those players won't get anywhere on their own, but I mean, I think a lot of attorneys, especially sports attorneys, they know the value that that they hold in that sport and how much money they potentially bring in. So they probably like fighting off of attorneys right now that are willing to go above and beyond to try to get them what they want. Will they get what they're worth? Who knows? But I do think something will come out of it, if for no other reason except to make it go away.
Good point.
Good point. Brother Brenton, what you think?
This is what I think. I think the Women's NCAA Basketball Association, well, whatever they are, they just recently got to getting some equality. So,
right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, and, that, well, we don't stick together well enough to make enough noise. So they'll keep being an annoying gnat. You know what I'm saying? That they'll swoosh off, and they may give some players, because that's the thing with the NFL. The reason why they can't garnish the power that the NBA has is because of the disproportionate money that the players get. So if you don't get the big names to sign off because they got their money, well, they're not gonna stick up for you little peons that's getting that veteran minimum. They don't care.
Right.
So again, the system always finds a way to exploit man's, as Devin said, greediness. So that's the reality, man. It's too many things wrong with this picture that money can always make it look a little dirty. So
yeah, well, they took the first step. They filed this lawsuit on February 8th, citing unfair labor practice charges against the NCAA, the Pac-12, UCLA, and USC to gain employee status and fair compensation for FBS football players and Division I men's and women's basketball players. So,
women are involved. Okay.
Yeah, women are involved too. And Ivy League, they want to get fair compensation, Title IX, and all that stuff as well for Ivy League scholarships and all that. So I definitely keep you guys abreast on what happens with this. We're going to see where it happens. Will this just be some more paper just logged up? Another, as they call, maybe frivolous lawsuit. So we'll go from there. So
100.
That's my sports segment. Back to you guys. Back to you, Brenton.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys enjoyed all of that information that you probably have no reason to have anything to do with it, right? Because your kids, they going to JUCOs. So no. I'm just playing. I'm teasing, man. Well, I see why she's up there. So, madam, I see you been at home. Who business you done got into today?
Man, you know what? All day I was at work and I was working hard earning that check. You know what I'm saying? Working for the man, minding my business at my computer. And somehow I got in Cardi B's. Guess what happened? Did y'all know that Cardi B had a sister named Hennessy?
Yep.
Yeah, I did know that. Yeah.
Yep.
I did not know that.
And Hennessy was in the Hamptons clowning. There was like 3 people. One of them was wearing a MAGA hat, and apparently they sued Hennessy because they said she called him racist, and that was defamatory, and she also spit at him and things like that. But they didn't sue Hennessy because they know she broke. So Cardi B posted a video of it and said that they targeted them because they were Dominican and gay and things of that nature. So of course they sued Cardi, because why would they sue Hennessy? They wouldn't have sued anybody if it was just. But anyway, somehow Cardi got thrown into this and she won the suit. It was thrown out. They said that someone telling you that you're racist is not defamatory, and there was no proof that she spit at them with or whatever that they said. But one of them had a MAGA hat on. So let's be honest, the MAGA hat became the new Confederate flag, and people knew exactly what everyone thought when they wore those hats. And
right.
regardless to why that hat became that. It literally became the new Confederate flag. But what I wanted to ask you guys is, do the family members of these celebrities now have an obligation to not act a fool out of fear of them suing Will because of what his brother did, or Martin because of what his sister did? I don't know. What y'all think? Ken?
You went where I was going. I definitely think the family members have an obligation to don't act a fool. Don't be out there, I mean, you can be jeopardizing your family's reputation as well as their career. Cardi B just happened to, the judge saw it on her side. But you're right. I do think these family members need to stop getting out here acting a fool and showing up, your sibling or whatever, your mother or father, man, because you put them in a bad position. You're putting them in a position now, they got to fight your battles, and you're grown. That's on you. But, guess what? Everybody going to attach that you to your sibling, to your parent or whatever. Anytime you do something crazy, that lawsuit going to have your name on there. So, yeah, man, family members, they got to do better.
But Black, like, it's Cardi B. Cardi B got caught at a very formal event trying to throw a shoe at somebody and ended up leaving with a knot on her head. So if your sister is Cardi B, aren't you expected to act a little bit of a fool? I mean, and your name is your name is Hennessy.
That's where, for me, once you name Hennessy, you know she's gonna act a damn fool from the gate. These two raggedy bitches wasn't gonna do nothing but be themselves. So God bless them. And for me, and I don't think you can consider that a curse. I don't think.
No, it's a female dog. It's a female dog.
There you go, kid. I'm watching.
I wrote that down, bro.
But I'm saying now, they say that on TV.
Okay.
Come
all
on,
right,
bro.
you good, brother. You good.
Having said that, I actually don't think. I think everybody is responsible for themselves. Look, in a fair world, in a perfect world, it would be great if you knew that you had a famous sibling and that you walked the plank and walked the course knowing that it could come back on them. But I think inevitably people are going to be themselves. And, I got a shit.
I guess ball don't lie, mouth don't lie.
You didn't put the T on the end. I didn't hear the T.
I got a bunch of brothers and sisters.
he said sheet, audience. He said sheet. SHEET.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Help me out, y'all. I got a bunch of brothers and sisters. And my God, if I was held accountable for the things that they say and do, I wouldn't have a job. You know what I'm saying? And so I think they have to answer for themselves. It's unfortunate that in a litigious society, you're right, Sister Devin, she don't have nothing to go after, so they're going to go after the big wheel and go after, thank God that Cardi B prevailed. But what do you expect? Look at her upbringing, her family. So, come on.
I don't know. Brother Brandon, what you think?
Well, I just got one question before I start. Is the daddy name Incredible Hulk and the mama name Bloody Mary? I mean, what they do in the holidays, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I would say this. If you pay attention to the things that we've already talked about now, I mean, we have laws in place. I mean, you can sue somebody for looking at you wrong. I mean, I remember when a woman spilled coffee at McDonald's because it was too hot.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Hey, dummy.
Yep.
I mean, don't you know if it's too hot? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I just think, like y'all saying, they're trying to take advantage of people who have family members or friends who don't use, better judgment. And if we got to be our brother's keeper, well, it's a lot of reparations that folks are asking for around here. So if we want to start handing out money for what somebody else did, y'all start doing that.
That's true. But I mean, there's only so many times that my siblings could get me sued, and I have to pay money for a lawyer to get you out of trouble before I don't cut you off.
Right.
You back in the child line. I mean, you ain't gonna You ain't gonna be able to do that too many more times. And Hennessy should change her name to Heather so she can quit being judged. I automatically think ratchet, and the girl could have been at church this morning. I don't know nothing about it. But anyway, that was me trying to mind my business, ending up in Cardi.
Thank you, ma'am, so much. It's just interesting how you always find yourself in somebody else's business.
Always in somebody's business.
I will tell you are consistent weekly. You always find yourself in somebody else's business.
It's hard out here for the pimp on the blimp.
Who's in brain? Okay. So what we got? Okay, yeah. Listen, so the team on Sunday nights did a segment about interracial marriage, and I wanted to cross talk about it. So this is how it came about. There's a senator named Mike Braun. Where is he from? Indiana. Go figure. Hoosier, right? Now listen, I want y'all to keep in mind the Supreme Court passed a law. I say passed a law. They what do they do? They judge it. What do they do to them? They don't create the laws. There you go. Thank you. They ratify the laws. Thank you, sir. See why I have all y'all on the show? So they ratified a law in 1967 about interracial marriage. And they brought it up and they said that a case with landmark case, Loving versus Virginia, that it's not against the law.
That was 67. That was a 67 when they ratified it, correct?
Yes.
It was no longer against the law. Okay,
that's right. Which doesn't make sense why it was against the law in the first place. But
that ain't been that long ago.
I know.
1967.
I think half y'all was born, right?
Okay. Well, yesterday.
I wasn't born yet. I was almost
not quite. Yet.
Me
too.
Okay, all right, good. That's why y'all look so good. All right. So this is the thing, y'all. This guy, I don't know. I think he still wears tighty whities as far as how antiquated he is. I mean, man, you want to bring? I think he just want to bring some attention to himself because I've never heard of him. You know what I'm saying? And so he just want to make a name for himself. Maybe he's trying to become vice president in somebody's ticket. Who knows? But he wants to bring it back to where the states decide whether or not interracial marriage should be legal. I mean, y'all want to take stuff out of the schools, but y'all bring stuff up in the Senate. It's like, why should we gotta do this, right? We gotta make this sense. So then it brought us to this conversation about some people in social media started talking about the only reason Kamala and Ketanji got to where they were was because they were in an interracial marriage, and including Clarence Thomas, his wife Jeannie, they're an interracial couple, and I thought to myself, how ignorant of us to think that people that have interracial marriages are the only ones that can come up in the Senate or in the ladder of Congress. Like they were upset, like if she should have had a black husband. Well, do y'all forget not just one presidency ago that y'all had 2 black people in office? Did we forget that the first lady was black and the president was black? So what we arguing about now, y'all?
And the first black president was he was made through an interracial relationship. I guess they forgot about that too, huh?
I don't know. My question to us is, and I understand this, like we had to evolve through the movies. Y'all remember Spike, what he did, right? Jungle Fever. Yeah, I'm with you. They trying to set us back, right? And so we were having to work through a lot of things. Whether it was colorism or whether it was, masculinity. We were having to work through so much because we were dragging, kicking and screaming, trying to come into the 21st century. So I understand why millennials don't really see the big issue, but you got to understand what we working from. We working from a buttload of ignorance. And I don't understand why did this woman have to be slighted because she got a white husband. And I get proximity and all that kind of stuff, But I mean, I don't have an issue with interracial marriage. There's no need to try to label it why somebody was successful or not.
Right.
I don't know. Do you guys have a problem with interracial marriage?
Well, I'm not gonna get in my
I'm
business.
sorry. Okay, I'm sorry.
We're not gonna get in my business, but one day we will. But anyway, I think they're trying to discredit this lady's blackness. I think they're trying to make people see her as less black when this lady is black. I mean, she black. When you look at her, there's nothing about her where you think of proximity to whiteness. And I think politicians say things like that because they're trying to bring attention to themselves. You know, Trump ushered in that radical politics. And that's why people like old dude in Florida and Hot Wheels here in Texas, they always have something to say. So the closer we get to election, the more you hear stupid stuff from Hot Wheels, the more you'll hear stupid stuff from old boy in Florida and those radical type of politicians. But as far as the old girl, they're just trying to lessen her blackness. And so nothing would ever come out of making interracial marriage illegal because, I mean, no one would ever do something like that.
And I want to say this too, because there are other dejectors who talk about, well, black men need to do better. For what? White men beat black people too. White men cheat on black women too. White women cheat on black men. So I don't understand what this all about. Well, the white is better. They treat the men better. No, they don't. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not picking that fight, but I'm saying to the ignorance of the statement. Like it ain't about you guys trying to say black men need to do better. Well, even if we was doing better, maybe that's what she wants. So fine. You know, I don't need once you go black, you don't never come back. I mean, we got a black on here, and I think some of the women don't come back, right?
Oh man, they all man. Come on.
No, I was just teasing.
That's right.
I mean, listen, the man got some standards now. Listen, I've seen his sheets, and he asked, "Listen, honey, if you can't perform these, well, then don't come by here."
Can't just take anything.
That's it, man. You know, I dated Snow Bunny, so I get it.
Well, but with that said, we all black when the lights go out, so.
Oh,
so for me, that's for me. And I'm gonna keep it clean, but you know, I don't have an issue with interracial dating whatsoever. You know, people like what they like when they like it. I've been saying that for a while. Now to try to pass the laws against this, but this is what we've ushered in. We've ushered in a new generation of congressmen and senators to try to fulfill what the previous administration wanted to set up. When we talk about make America great again, they are talking about Brittany taking us back to the good old days. You know what I'm saying? And so they want states to have that power to be able to make that decision so that they can divide the country, you know. And so the fact that this is on Crosstalk, what's unfortunate to me is that our younger generation, which I love their militarism. You know, I love their fight. And like I said, they need to partner with the experience and wisdom of the older generation. But we're talking about, in many cases, a generation under 30, you know, who they didn't grow up in a time, they don't remember having rotary phones. You know, they grew up in an era where, you know, they think that this is how it ought to be. And Brother Kenny, you pointed out so eloquently that this law was in 1967. We act sometimes as if all of these things that impact us, you know, from a racial perspective, that it happened some bygone era. We're only really talking about 50, 60 years ago, you know, and the fact that 35 states still have on their book a law that allows you to rape people and not see them as human, that tells you that even state to state, they still have laws that would gladly go back to that time period. See, as African Americans, all of us representing on this dais right now, we tend to live in a bubble sometimes, whether we're about my generation or the younger generation, because we think that we're everywhere. When in reality, if you break it down, African Americans are only in probably about 12 to 15 states. When you start eliminating New York, Chicago, and blah, 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 there's a hell of a lot of states across this great US of A where we ain't welcome. We better get our black asses out of town before sundown. They don't want us there. They don't want us marrying their kind. And that's the reality of it. And so it's unfortunate, but race is always going to come into it unless we're willing to burn the whole damn institution down, in my opinion.
I wonder what they're going to do if two biracial people get married.
and you know, I'm gonna be real quick. You
Indiana.
know, first of all, I want to say that I don't have a problem with anybody dating outside of their race. You date who you date. You like who you like. You know, my family, and I think most of us can say we got interracial family members. I know I do. I have a ton of them. So me personally, again, that's your preference. You date what you date and do what you do. Now, the comments made about these two sisters, I think that's a slap in their face that some of these commenters are saying that they making it seem like they only got to where they were because they involved with a white man. Last I checked, them sisters went to Ivy League schools. They ain't had nothing to do with them being with a white man. They had with them on their own merits. So to me, when people make these silly comments about black women may not be there because they only there because they white men, no, they develop the accolades. And I'll say this last thing. People kind of, and it's kind of like committing crime. I would say this. Most people commit crimes because of proximity. Whomever is in your area, your environment, that's where you see crime. Most of the time, when you see people in interracial relationships, a lot of times their environment that they were in, where they lived, their school, was probably predominantly of that particular race that they're with. So you date who you date because that's who you're around.
That's right.
In the story. That's my take on it.
I had a Chris Rock joke, but I feel like
please let's not do Chris Rock.
I probably think I get slapped with. Well, you know, I'll say this to the whole situation and as a whole. I think we as a people just should, you know, allow people to be who they are whenever they are, however long they want to be that way. And the reality is just that in itself. And at the end of the day, you know, I'm still trying to let people know I'm part Native American because I need some of that casino money. So I'm still trying to work that. So I'm part Native American because I just need to get some of that casino money, man, that they've been getting all these years.
I know that's right for sure. For real.
All right,
I got hot cheekbones. Y'all, somebody, my cousin, somebody out there,
right,
I'm an Indian. Come on.
All right, then, ma'am. Where we at next? You already told me back in the background. So, all right, we're at the best part of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Lee Black will holler at you about the price of fame.
Well,
I think where he's going.
Yeah, there you go. You know, look, it's inescapable. You know, unfortunately, you know, on Hollywood's greatest night, you know, we were all witnesses to something we had never seen. You know, and you know, this was a time when Hollywood was there to shine in front of us, millions of viewers. We're coming back from a live show after the pandemic. You had his history being made, 3 female hosts. It was the first time the Oscars was being produced by an all-black production team of Will Packer. Yeah, in case you didn't know that. So this is why this is generating so much buzz, you know, because on its most famous night, you know, you had an A-level celebrity and an A-level comedian both clash. But what's the price of fame? You know, when we tune into a show like this, I don't know about you guys, you know, even though I'm far removed from that lifestyle, I don't know any of these people, I tune in like everybody else. I'm curious to see what they're going to have on. You know, I sat in my bed and I had my crab legs and had my drink around me. And I had a grand old time talking to my damn self about what I liked and what I didn't like. And I was about to curse the effery and the foolishness, you know, about this whole evening. And then the evening took a turn in a whole nother direction. Now, here's where I'm actually glad it happened, because so many times we sit and we, you know, live in la la land and we wonder what it's like to be famous, you know, and in this world right now of Me Tooism, you know, and meism, where we ushered in this era of TikTok where everybody wants to be famous for one thing or another. Well, here you had famous people, and I'm glad the veil was pulled back in such a way that it gave us an opportunity on the biggest stage to see what a tumultuous life it could be to have that kind of fame and power and realize the demands that it takes on your time. And I'm so glad in this moment that we're talking about this to a certain extent. And I'm not talking about the existential conversation about whether Will is right and Jada and this and that. That's a conversation to be had between a man and a woman. But I'm talking about fame. I'm talking about the fact that every little thing that they're doing now is under tremendous amount of scrutiny and recognition to the point where his award could be taken away. And it made me truly realize that a 30-year-old Lee wanted to be rich, wanted to be famous, would have loved to be in that position. But I sit before you now as a 54-year-old person, extremely comfortable in my own skin. And I love where I'm at because I don't have to live under that level of scrutiny. And if a man slapped me in the face, like it was said, I can do what I need to do and handle my business in a different way without having the Twitterverse erupt about what should and shouldn't happen. And so sometimes we have to be careful when we're looking out there in that grand metaverse, as you talk about, Brother Renton, about wanting things and the grass is greener and things that don't belong to us. Be happy with who you are. And sometimes the grass is truly not greener and the price of fame is just too damn high.
Listen, he's the man, y'all. The legend, the myth, and the man. So thank you, sir, for that.
I still want to be rich. I just don't want to be famous.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, just a little bit of that money.
Well, you're not 54 yet, so maybe you'll change your mind when you turn 54. Nah, okay, I see. Nah. No. All right. Listen, y'all, man, it's been a great show. I apologize that Oscars had to take over today, but we'll be back next week with a lot of more topics to talk about because people gonna keep doing stupid things, and so we're gonna just keep talking about it as they keep showing us. So, all right, let's get to final thoughts, Brother Kenny. What's your final thoughts, brother?
Proud of Brother Black and Sister Devin. They did great tonight.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I had to scratch that one off because it is actually a female dog. So you get a pass on that one, brother. You get a pass. My final thoughts is about comedy. And I will say this: I love comedy. I love to laugh. I think with this, what we just saw last night with Chris Rock, who's a comedian, and some would call him somewhat of a controversial comedian. I think that we gotta separate comedy from digs at you or personal attacks. Personally, I thought Chris Rock was just doing comedy. I don't think it was a personal attack at Jada, and I don't think he meant any harm. But on the flip side of that, with jokes comes consequences as well, because sometimes you can tell the wrong joke to the wrong person at the wrong time, and that could cause a disaster, just like we saw last night. Again, I love comedy. I don't want comedians to feel like they should be pigeonholed, still do comedy. And I think us that receive comedy, don't take it so serious. It's just a joke at the end of the day. Laugh it off, keep it moving. That's my final thoughts.
Thank you, sir. Brother Black.
Yeah. So again, my final thoughts even pertain to this situation, but in a different way. I've had so many conversations from last night to today about what happened. And of course, I looked on Twitter and YouTube, and it's everywhere. We can't escape it. Unless you was living under a rock, you can't escape what's happened. And this put me in the mind of what Jesus Christ must have gone through. To think about it. Here you had a man, if you believe in Christ, who was a great teacher, and he had amassed a great crowd, at the time when he became the Messiah, and he had followers, and he embarrassed the Pharisees and Sadducees. And then this man was put on trial, and although they knew he was innocent, a little whisper was put in the crowd's ear that would make them turn on him in such a way that they yelled out, "Crucify him, crucify this man." And I think about the Will Smith situation right here. And as I read some of the comments, it blew my mind how invested people are in these people's lives who you don't know, you'll never know, and how they were getting so angry, the vitriol that was being spewed on one side or the other, the arguments from a simple mishap on national TV, it turned into a war about men and women and the disrespect and this and that. And as I said, I think this is a conversation between a husband and a wife. But it made me think about just how easy it is, to find yourself, on the other side of that level of vitriol and shame. And it made me reflect on Jesus Christ. So for me, it made me truly appreciate all that Jesus has done for us to suffer those levels of indignity and shame and to take that walk and to be crucified, even though that man was innocent.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Madam?
I remember if it was last year or the year before, Jada, in the same, realm of what we were talking about, she had petitioned for everybody to boycott the Oscars. And she was calling them the Oscars are so white because they did not nominate her husband for an Oscar. And she said she would never go back and she didn't want any parts of it. And we all needed to boycott if we was black and start our own stuff until her husband was nominated for one. And then all of a sudden she bought this big, huge gown that she spent a whole lot. What I want to say is these people are very entitled. And I want people to quit defending people like Will Smith and Chris Rock, because you will never go anywhere near them. They're not going to ever help you. They don't want no parts of you. They will never defend you. If you ever go anywhere near them, your black behind is being arrested. What they've done was unexcusable. And I don't think it's okay. I believe it will reflect bad on Will in the future. I believe he may have put a little bit of stain on him. And I hate that because he was always somebody I looked up to. I like for celebrities to be these mystical people you know nothing about. And he should be mad at his wife for putting all their business on that red table, opposed to being mad at other folks and making fun of them, because we've said a lot worse. So I just think people need to quit comparing themselves and putting themselves in the same category with these people, because they're nothing like you. You will never be able to walk up to anybody and slap them without going to jail.
Please believe.
That's facts.
That's right.
All right, Madam Producer, I'll make mine short and sweet. Can you put everybody to the side? Ladies and gentlemen, I have a question for you all. Again, I appreciate you all so much for giving us your words of wisdom, your opinions, and all of these non-cuss words. Thank y'all so much. So my question to you all, what does the term holding on for dear life mean to you guys? What does that mean? Holding on to for dear life. Y'all
trying to make
put
it.
them to the side, Taylor. What'd you say?
Trying to make it.
Just trying to make it. Kenny, what's holding on for dear life mean to you, brother?
You in a situation that if you let go, it's gonna be some bad things happening. So yeah,
same for me.
Holding on for dear life. If you let go, some bad things gonna happen. I tell you, Kenny, boy, you're a Jeopardy winner, aren't you? Y'all take a look at this and let's see what this makes sense to y'all.
Hold him, hold him, hold him, hold him, hold him, hold him. Stay with him.
I'm sorry to have no Ozzy brothers for y'all, but listen.
Oh no, man.
I agree with you, Kenny. All I'm saying is just know when to let go when it's getting too hectic for you. Okay, yeah, don't hold on for dear life when it's getting hectic. Y'all, listen, know how to get out the way so you won't take one off on the dome. You know, it gets hard out there. Listen, I'd rather take Will slap than that one right there, Doc.
I know that's right. I'm with you on that, Doc.
Yeah, we all signed up for Will slap.
Right. For real.
Listen, y'all, thank y'all so much for joining us. That is Kenny, that is Black, and that is Devin, and we're gonna be in y'all business next week. Peace out.
All right, peace.